Onto this story now. 15 people have died in an accident involving a minibus taxi and a truck on the N9 in Aberdeen in the Eastern Cape last night. It's alleged that a heavy-duty truck hit a stray animal, causing the driver to lose control. The taxi was travelling from the Eastern Cape to the Western Cape, while the truck was going in the opposite direction. For more on this story, we are now joined via Zoom by provincial transport spokesperson, Mr. Unathi Binqose. Mr. Binqose, a good morning to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. I think let's talk about, the where and the when and all of this took place. Just what we understand about the impact of this accident and where it took place.
Very freakish, very bizarre in its nature. It was a case of very fine margins, a case where everything that could have been at the wrong place at the wrong time was literally at the wrong place at the wrong time. Because at the time when this trailer of this truck tipped over, it's right at the moment as the minibus taxi, fully loaded, was passing by, and it fell on top of it, crashing everyone inside. There were 15 people inside, and we're told that these were people that were traveling from Kutsolo, a town just outside Mthatha. They were attending a funeral there and were headed back to the Western Cape. So we're talking here about people who may be related to each other by blood or some by friendship. But we're talking here about people who were attending a funeral and were headed back to the Western Cape after attending that funeral.
Is there something to be said?
All those people
Yeah, apologies for cutting in there. Is there something to be said about the quality of the roads in the area on the N9?
The N9 is one of those roads that are well maintained by the National Road Agency, which is SANRAL. And so the state of the road cannot really be questioned. Of course, we'll look at everything, including the road itself. But of course, we won't overlook the issue of the vehicles that were involved in this accident. And we're told that there was a stray animal as well, which was the major instigator of this accident.
Yeah, I mean, just to confirm, because what we've got right now as a death toll is 15 people that have lost their lives. Is that still the number that you've got on your books?
It's all those were in that minibus taxi. They have all perished, so there won't be any increase in the number of fatalities because the driver of the minibus of the truck sustained very minor injuries. So we expect the number to remain at 15.
Okay. And just lastly, I mean, just messages for those that are driving on those very busy roads that we know that we see our families really traveling for funerals and weddings and those big events, particularly on that route between the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape. I mean, just a few tips on really how to stay safe on those roads.
When you get to Middleburg, when you get to Aberdeen, those areas, you would have traveled over 500 kilometers from Cape Town, and you still have another 400 more kilometers to go. So we're talking here about an area where drivers will be really exhausted by the time they get to that place. And of course, and that being in the middle of the night. So the issue of fatigue really comes into play. And we have been pleading and will continue to plead with our drivers in particular to take regular breaks and of course, reduce speed. Because we understand that at night people will take advantage of the fact that there are fewer cars on the road and will tend to speed to make up the time they may have lost. But we are urging them to reduce speed because we're seeing a lot of accidents that are happening on that stretch of the road. So the issue of speed and the issue of taking regular breaks is something that we're encouraging. But we also want to make this point that the issue of identifying the bodies has started. If there's anyone watching in and around the area of Tsolo, they are encouraged to check their loved ones who may have been traveling to Cape Town, and the bodies will be available for the identification at Aberdeen mortuary.
Okay, Aberdeen mortuary. And where are you now with the cleanup of the area as well? Because I imagine that would have been quite a task.
The road has since been cleared to traffic and the traffic is flowing again. However, crash investigators are remaining on the scene, combing for any clues that may lead to the cause of this accident.
And have any family members, been to the Aberdeen mortuary where you are calling for those that might want to identify bodies to come? Have you reached out to any family members yet? Any sort of contact with some of them?
No, none have arrived as yet, Naledi. However, we've been getting a lot of phone calls from interested relatives. And remember, this area is about 400 to 500 kilometers from where the taxi took off. So it's going to take them a while to get there. Yeah. But we expect that the the identification of bodies will commence no later than 1 o'clock today.
Yeah. It's a tragic situation. Thank you so much for speaking to us. We really do appreciate it. Provincial Transport spokesperson Unathi Binqose speaking to us about that tragic accident that took place on the N9 in the Eastern Cape. We do appreciate your time.